Welcome back, Camels, to another episode of Campbell Now TV. I'm Madison Gentry.
And I'm Wally Ashaye.
Mark your calendars for the 9th Annual Wiggins Memorial Academic Symposium. Presentations are scheduled for Wednesday, March 20th, 2019, beginning at 9 a.m. This event gives student researchers and performers an opportunity to showcase their hard work and talent. If you have time in your schedule to attend the symposium, be sure to go and support your fellow Camels.
You can now obtain a Bachelor of Science in Biomedical Humanities here at Campbell University. The College of Arts and Sciences is thrilled to be offering this brand new major this academic year. Biomedical Humanities is a great major choice for students interested in both science and the liberal arts. It combines various aspects of both discipline together, making a great and versatile degree options. If you're interested in this degree, you can check it out on Campbell's website under Arts and Science academic programs.
The Office of Career Services will begin the spring series of Lunch and Learn programs beginning Wednesday, February 27th from 12 to 1 p.m. The topics for this semester are dedicated to professional life preparation. On March 27th, the focus will be on resume writing, and on April 24th, you can learn how to prepare for an interview. You don't want to miss out on this Lunch and Learn series. Enjoy great food while gaining valuable skills that you can use outside of college every fourth Wednesday in Marshbanks from 12 to 1 p.m.
If you need a break from midterm studying, the campus activities boards will be hosting an aromatherapy night and roaming center on Wednesday, February 20th at 6 p.m. You can go hang out, de-stress, and create a variety of items such as lotion, sugar scrubs, sprays, and more. More information about this event can be found by visiting the CAB calendar or the social media.
We'll take a look at some sports and national news right after this.
We saw a very exciting game between your women's basketball team and UNC Asheville this past Saturday. Asheville took a 2-point lead with just over a minute left in the game. With 27 seconds left on the clock, Haley Barber, the game's leading Campbell scorer with 14 points, tied the game 47-47. The arena was on edge of their seats as Taya Baldwin made the game-winning layup with 3 seconds left to go. What a win for your Fighting Camels. This is the ladies' first win against Asheville since 2017. The team will take on Gardner-Webb this Saturday, February 16th at 2 p.m.
Watch out, Camel fans, because track and field is on a hot streak. Campbell's men's indoor track and field team has been ranked number 20 nationally, the program's highest ranking in history. This ranking for the Camels also marks the highest ranking in North Carolina. Ammon Kimboy has been breaking records all year. Most recently, he has earned 9th fastest all-time mark among NCAA runners in the 3K. The Kenyan native also ranks 2nd nationally in the 5K. The Camels track and field team are back at it this weekend in Lynchburg, Virginia.
Harnett County is taking steps to express the importance of heritage by hosting its first annual African American Heritage Festival for Black History Month. The event is a way for the community to have a fun and educational experience that celebrates diversity. Campbell University partakes in this event as they allow Carter Gym to be used as one of the festival's main venues. This event will take place this Saturday, February 16th, from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. The festival is a huge step to get everyone in the area to celebrate Black history.
Police officers give more than tickets. The Oxford Police Department in Mississippi follows a We Care program that gives drivers a chance to repair car damages, such as broken headlights. When Oxford Police would normally write tickets, they instead give drivers a voucher worth $25 so that they can take their vehicles to a local repair shop. It's a program that shows how body shop owners and police care about the safety of their community.
One Florida woman is thankful for her life and her 2 dogs. Marina Hatcher was alone in her house one afternoon when she experienced a stroke. Her 2 dogs, Bella and Sadie, immediately ran through the door and grabbed the attention of a neighbor. An ambulance took her away. Once fully recovered, Hatcher rejoiced, and she still wonders how her dogs were able to seek help so quickly.
With Valentine's Day coming up this week, Taylor Deckert stopped by Academic Circle and asked a few members of the Relay for Life committee about how they are raising money to benefit the race and spread love around campus.
Carnation for a Cure is a fundraiser for Relay for Life, and since it's around like Valentine's Day, we're hoping that people would donate, and they get like 30 flowers for $10, and they get some candy, and then they send it out to their loved ones, their friends, their family, all in hopes of raising money for Relay for Life.
The Carnations for a Cure will be picked up on Thursday on Valentine's Day out in front of Marshbanks. And then other than that, right now, just April the 5th, which is our relay date from 5 to 9. Okay, so you start by picking your flower. We have red, pink, and white. Then you also pick your gift tag where you can personalize it to who you want to send it to and from you yourself. And then there'll also be candy in there, and you get to choose which bag you want to put it in.
How am I looking?
We chose Valentine's Day as a day to raise support and everything, so we can spread the love, because I know, like, on Campbell, we're like a big family, so what's the point of spreading the love to nobody? So that's the whole point. You could think of your loved ones, think of your friends, family, and be like, hey, I just want to give you guys a little something extra on Valentine's Day.
Wishing you a happy Valentine's Day from the crew at Campbell Now TV. I'm Taylor Deckert, back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Taylor. Relay for Life will be hosting many fundraisers throughout the semester leading up to the big day on April 5th. Follow Campus Activities Board for more information. We'll be right back with an exclusive interview after this. Our special guest today is Dr. Arvind Singhal. He is the Samuel Shirley and Edna Holt Marston Endowed Professor of Communication at the University of Texas at El Paso. He is also the Director of the Social Justice Initiative at the university. Dr. Singhal is here at Campbell through Friday for the Communication Studies Week. He has co-authored and edited 14 books on communication topics. The topics include things like social change, AIDS in Africa, and positive deviance. Dr. Singhal, thank you for joining us today on Campbell Now.
My pleasure, Madison.
I'm so happy to have you here. So I know that we've mentioned that you do a lot of research on things like positive deviance. Can you define positive deviance to us?
Certainly. So a deviance is typically understood as being something negative, something bad. And in this case, as the phrase implies, we are talking about the good kind of deviance. So positive deviance is really a problem-solving approach where you begin by asking what's working and what's working for those for whom it shouldn't be working. Now, what does that mean? To illustrate with an example, let's say you're interested in addressing the issue of teenage pregnancy, looking at it as a problem which needs to be addressed, because if a young woman becomes pregnant, she often drops out of high school, may not go to college, and then, of course, carries the burden of caring not just for herself, but her child. So in El Paso County, where I live, we asked a very simple question. The question was, are there young women who come from a Hispanic Latino background, who come from a poor socioeconomic status, because these are women who are at the highest of high risk for teenage pregnancy. So are there women who come from a Hispanic Latino background, who come from a poor socioeconomic status, who have a mother or a sister who have become pregnant when they were young, because that's another risk factor, but who for some reason are not pregnant? So you're looking for those who have solved the problem and who have solved the problem against all odds. So they are deviants because they are not the norm. The norm is if you have those characteristics, you're very likely to be pregnant, and they're positive because they've solved the problem.
Wow, that's very neat. So it's basically, you know, you're finding the solution, and then you're learning how to integrate that into, you know, the issue at hand to solve the issue?
True. You begin with the assumption that there's somebody out there within the community who has solved the problem. And they have solved the problem when they shouldn't have, because they face the highest odds. And if indeed they have solved the problem, then the wisdom is right there in the community to solve the problem, as opposed to an expert from the outside coming and telling you, this is what
Right.
you need to do.
So that's nice and probably cost effective too.
It is cost effective because somebody already is doing it and is
Right.
doing it against all odds. And it's also sustainable because whatever solution they have found, they've made it work within the community.
Right.
Yeah.
So somebody has told me that you once wrote a letter to Mother Teresa,
That
and
is
she
correct.
responded.
She did.
Can you tell me some more about that?
Certainly. Well, when you're 16 years old, you believe you can do anything. And so I was a teenager growing up in India, and I saw a television program which was on Mother Teresa. And it inspired me enough that I wrote a letter which was addressed to Mother Teresa, Calcutta, because I didn't know her address. I lived in New Delhi, the capital city, and she must have gotten the letter because in a few days there was a response, and my letter was a page long, but the response was 4 times
Wow.
longer, and that started a correspondence relationship between me and Mother Teresa, which lasted a long time and which has made me in some ways a follower of Mother Teresa's life.
Yeah.
And I collect as a hobby stories about her,
That is
which are
so
inspiring.
neat.
Yeah.
Yeah. So would you mind sharing with me maybe what you wrote to her that first time?
I think I don't exactly remember what I wrote to her about, except to say that I'm inspired. I'm inspired by virtue of the portrayal of what she was doing. I think I may have said something about I was really touched by how you care for the destitute, the dying, the unwanted. And it inspires me to do, as a city-bred young man, something which is too far away from my world.
Right.
I'm inspired to do something similar. And her response, that I distinctly remember, said in the first letter that if you have written to me, there is something already in your heart which is speaking to you, and you may call it whatever you may wish. You can call it Jesus, you can call it Allah, you can call it Ishwar, you can call it whatever. And if it continues to speak to you, I recommend that you go to the Home of the Dying, which is an institution which the Missionaries of Charity run in Delhi. And she said, try not to judge when you are there, and then you will know what to do next. Because too often, when you see poor people or the unwanted or the destitute and the ones who've been left on the street to die, and if you see them with a kind and a generous heart, with an open heart, then maybe there's something within you that begins to speak to you. And that's what happened.
Yeah, well, we can definitely see your inspiration of her through your work and all of the research that you've done. So that's really great that you were able to keep that correspondence going. So
Sure.
I think for our last question, I would
Yes.
like to know,
Yes.
out of all of the research that you've done, how would you suggest that we can integrate them into our daily lives, especially as young adults going into the professional world? How can we use the things that you've researched every day?
It's a very good question to ask, because as young people or as people, we like to ask questions. And too often we are obsessed as problem solvers in asking what's the problem, what's not working, what are the gaps, what are the deficits. And I think it behooves us, this positive deviance approach behooves us as a problem solver to ask what's working. And what's working against all odds, because if you begin to ask what's working, then the answers will be very different than if you begin by asking what's not. So Mother
Right.
Teresa, for instance, maybe if I could connect her with positive deviance, was once asked when she was in Washington, D.C., if she could march against the Vietnam War. And her response was, "I'm so sorry, my child, I will not be marching against the Vietnam War, but if you choose to have a march in Washington for peace, I would be the first to lead." So, you know, too many of us too often are against things because they are problems. You know, we're against drug abuse, we are against racial discrimination, we are against teenage pregnancy, but we should also ask, what are we for? Because if you begin to ask, what are you for, then the answers may be different.
Right, because the tools to solve those problems are just right in front of us, right?
Indeed.
That is so great. Well, thank you so much for coming on to our show tonight and just visiting Campbell for this week. We really appreciate it, and we have learned so much from you even before you got here.
Delighted. Thank you for
Thank
having
you
me
so
here.
much.
Thank you, Madison.
If you'd like to hear more, Dr. Arvind Singhal will speak Thursday night at 7 o'clock in Lynch Auditorium. All students are invited to be a part of it. Dr. Singhal, thank you. That's all the time we have for tonight. I'm Madison Gentry.
And I'm Wally Ashaye. Tune in next week for more Campbell News. Have a good night.